You're about to see us put a whooping on this thing. We got a doozy. 3-bedroom apartment, move out. We got rust stains, dog poo, spots and stains all over this apartment. It's a rough one, but when we get done, this thing looks amazing. You're not going to believe the transformation we're able to get in less than an hour. Lyndin, me, and Thomas working together. Again, great show. Today's Sunday, February 16th. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Daily Vlog episode number 49. I'm Dan Udy, and don't forget to mash the thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any upcoming content. As you could probably tell, this carpet is obviously in very rough shape. I've got Lyndon on the workhorse and Thomas is on the pro team. I'm just shooting some video. Here are the rust stains. I'm not sure, they look darker, but this one obviously you can tell is definitely rust. This one I think is rust in combination with something else. She said she had her freezer there. You can see a bunch of spots coming out of the kitchen there, just a whole dark traffic lane really. And there's the little kitchen. Again, this is a 3-bedroom apartment with a living room, carpeted living room, dining room, and hallway. Obviously this carpet is going to need to be stretched, and fortunately we do work with this apartment complex property manager really closely, so we're probably going to be coming back out and stretching that. You can see my shadow there, I'm waving. But in this master closet here, we had a little bit of the dog poo-poo. The bedrooms in and of themselves weren't really that bad. It was mostly just the living room, dining room, and hallway. Of course, the bedrooms did have a couple areas of concern, but nothing major or near as bad as the living room, dining room. The carpet definitely did need to be vacuumed very, very thoroughly. She actually called the day before and asked if we would be vacuuming the carpet, and Angela of course told her yes, that's the first step of our process. So this is the view from this apartment, gorgeous apartment complex. You can see with a beautiful lake. They have a really, really nice pool, a fitness center, and there you can see the van. And but overall, yeah, this is an extremely nice property. It's also really close to the military base, so it's pretty much always full. And you can see Thomas going around and getting the edges, and Lyndon going ahead to start with the application of our preconditioner. This preconditioning treatment he definitely did mix up a little bit stronger than normal to try to combat some of those areas of heavy soiling. So as previously mentioned, we were in and out of here in just under 1 hour. The tenant that's in the process of moving out, that well, pretty much moved out. There was a few things in the kitchen, but they did leave while we were cleaning, asked if it would be okay, so I went ahead and collected payment prior to starting the work, and this was a $165 job. And because we cleaned this on a weekend and Lyndon and Thomas worked so hard all week long, I figured I'd give them a little bit of break, and I did all the wanding or extracting work on this job. Also, I really enjoy doing the wand as well. So one of the first areas that Lyndon put down the pre-spray was actually straight back into the master bedroom. And the reason for that is so that immediately after he got done putting the detergent down, Thomas could take the counter-rotating brush machine, as you can see here, and he's got the 10-inch CRB with the renovator trays in it, and so he can start agitating the detergent into the face yarn and preparing it for the next step, which is, of course, the hot water extraction. Because this is the first room we're going to be cleaning in the farthest point, we always try to precondition the farthest point first, agitate it first as well, and then of course start the extraction process on the farthest away point and then work our way toward the front door. So over the short few years that we've actually been working with this apartment complex, we've actually seen 4 different property managers and 3 different companies own this property. I'm not sure it's that common in other parts of the country, but it seems like around here there's a lot of changing up of ownership in terms of who owns what properties. We've seen it a lot, not just with this property, but with several of the other properties that we service and work with. So definitely you can see here that I went ahead and grabbed the wand. I do have my undershirt on, which is 100% cotton. Normally the shirts we wear are polyester, which breathes a whole lot easier. And in southeast Georgia with the heat and humidity like it is, that's a pretty nice feature. But today I wore the 100% cotton undershirt, and I definitely regretted it. Even though it was really chilly outside, it was actually extremely warm inside, and I was definitely had broke a sweat before I was even halfway done with the first room here. Talking a little bit with our client here today, I found out that they are going to be moving to Groton, Connecticut, and of course as soon as I heard that, I inquired about whether or not they are military and was definitely informed that they are in fact military. The only reason I asked is because that's where I was actually stationed right after boot camp. Groton, Connecticut was where I attended my submarine schooling. So again, I was only there for I think about 6 weeks before getting transferred down to Kings Bay, which is where I attended my A school, C school, and eventually got on the USS Maine Gold crew, and also did my shore duty in Kings Bay. So one of the neat things about living in a submarine community like we do is that there's really, I think, only about 9 submarine bases that we have, that the United States has. I can't remember exactly where all of them are at, but every time I hear the name of the city and state where I know for sure there is one located, it immediately I think of the fact that they're probably more than likely associated with the military to some degree. So I know we have a lot of people come in and out of here from Norfolk, Groton, Connecticut, I think San Francisco, California, Hawaii, Bremerton, Washington, or Bangor, Washington, and a couple other places. Again, I can't remember all of them, but it's a much smaller community than just the U.S. Navy in totality. I'm finishing up this room here. This is the last of the 3 bedrooms, and then I'm going to work my way the rest of the way down the hallway here. And you'll get to see pretty much every single one of those spots came right out. There was the obvious trouble area in the dining room where the woman had put her freezer with the rust stains. And I will definitely say that that area we had a little bit of trouble with. You can probably see if you look closely in the kitchen, right when you first go into the kitchen, Lyndin had already grabbed the rust remover and a tool called a gum getter and went ahead and applied that and gently agitated that solution into the fiber in an effort to try and remove that. You can also probably see that Thomas just went into the kitchen. He ended up placing a spotter bottle and a magnet on the refrigerator, and then took the grooming tool or the grooming brush back to the bedroom, and he went ahead and groomed out all 3 of the bedrooms and the hallway, while Lyndin and I worked on the living room and dining room. So while Lyndin was actually doing this spot here, I wasted no time in starting to extract the living room. So by the time he was done lightening up those spots, not quite full removal, but about 95% removed. She was very pleased. But by the time he was done with that, I had about half, maybe 2/3 of the living room already completely extracted, which was really nice. We made great timing. Again, I love working with teams because while I'm doing something, they're doing something, and it seems like if everybody has a role, we end up compounding our efforts and getting done in a much shorter period of time, which from the very beginning I knew that if we could speed up the jobs, not rushing through them, but if we could make good time and use our time effectively, that we would be able to essentially add an additional job at the end of every day, so which is kind of what we ended up doing. And then of course you reach the point, or I did pretty quickly, that we had to add an additional van in order to accommodate all the cleanings that we were scheduling. So as you can probably see really clearly here, the carpets turned out absolutely amazing. And like any heavily soiled area, there were a few spots that we had to go back over quite a few times or use some spotters to completely eliminate. But like I said, overall, really good results. And most importantly, the client was very pleased. So of course, once we get done doing the extraction portion, we went ahead and had Thomas, which is our brand new guy, and he went ahead and groomed out the rest of the fibers in the living room, dining room, and he'd already done the hallway and the bedroom, so he did a really good job grooming those out and getting rid of the feet prints and some of the lines in there, also allowing that process to dry a little bit faster. And being that we only had the one job today, we didn't actually have a whole lot of water in our recovery tank or the dump tank, although the water that we did have was pretty funky, pretty dark, and definitely had a pretty disgusting odor about it. I worked up a huge appetite. You can see sprouts on the top there, and then a huge plate of baby lettuce, spinach, arugula, and beans, rice, and soy curls with a little bit of cashew sour cream or cheesy vegan cream sauce. So again, a huge plate of food and glass of water. This is day number 12 for me on my stricter diet. More or less, I've just been eating 2 times a day with meals just like this, very similar to this. But again, just 2 times a day, pretty much fasting from about 5 or 6 p.m. till about noon or 1 the next day, drinking a lot of water, but eliminating everything other than whole food plant-based diet. So absolutely no processed food, no processed sugar, and pretty much just vegetables and whole grains like brown rice and of course beans like you see here. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate everyone's support. Don't forget to mash the thumbs up, leave a comment below, and of course subscribe to our channel. Ring that bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content.